Okay, Ravi, I want to give you an update on what I've been working on. For the past several weeks, I've been working on the marketing of the book. As you know, I've been a quality editor for a literary agency. What I do is work on book reviews, and they assign me about 10 best-selling books a week that I read. I can read pretty fast. I read about 1,000 pages a day, and I carefully read all these books, and I edit the reviews, the book reviews. So this has given me a fantastic uh, experience that I can leverage in your favor to find a publisher and literary agent that's right for you. Now, what I've done is I've gone through and noted the publisher here and the year it was published, the page numbers. So if our book ends up being 300 pages, like most books are about 250, 300 pages, and they only publish 1,000-page biographies, we can avoid those publishers. Now, I also noted the genre of 600 best-selling books, the affiliation, and you see it's blank here. This is an early version of the database that makes sense. I made a video for you earlier today. My computer died as I was uploading it, and then I watched the video before I was going to upload it again, and it didn't make any sense to me. So it wouldn't make any sense to you, but I just want to show you what I'm working on so you can get at least some kind of update right now. So 600 books, I collected information on them so that I could find a good publisher and literary agent for you. So what I'm trying to do is list the expertise of the author so that we can find one that publishes first-time authors, or somebody most like me, or most like you, or most like your daughter, so that we can identify the publisher that will be right for you. See, a lot of things have to come together in order for a publisher to choose this book. One, they have to like first-time authors. Two, they have to publish a person like one of us. Like we can leverage that it was written by a PhD in religion. We can leverage it was written by a student, or we can leverage that it was written by an entrepreneur. Now, publishers specialize in publishing for different kinds of people. So if the author had a PhD, I noted that they had a PhD. If they had an MD, I know they had an MD. Or a JD, which is a law degree, a law degree. If they only publish celebrities, then I noted that. So we can lower it down from the 600 best publishers and literary agents, whittle it down to the top 10 or 20 different publishers. So that took me about 3 months of pretty much full-time work to collect all this information. As I was reading, I collected some of it, but all my notes were disorganized, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it until I spent a whole lot of time sifting through everything. So I'm going to deliver a list to you of the top agents and the top publishers that are the best for you. And then you mentioned having your guy help. Well, what your guy can do is go to the websites of these agents and publishers and submit your book when the time is right. So that's that. It was a whole lot of work, and the final result will be done as shortly as possible, but I can produce a list very soon. The problem is the book isn't ready yet, so it isn't ready to be sent to these people. So, but the work has been done, and this work here is durable. It's going to be good for 5, 6 years. Not that you're going to need it for that long, but that brings me to my next point about this. What I discovered as I was reading through all these books, and as I was researching, more importantly, the authors and how it became a best-selling book. Like, this research includes detailed information about how each one of these books became a bestseller. Now, most of that's in my noggin, but I do have that information available should someone want to look into it. And I have them available in the form of YouTube interviews with these authors. You know, like all these authors, or almost all of them, some of them are now dead, but most of these authors have had an internet presence, and they have several interviews actually on YouTube, and a lot of them talk about how their book became a bestseller. Very good information if you want to be a best-selling author. So what I've learned, and what I've told you before, I think, is that it takes about a year to write a best-selling book. And that's if you're spending 4 hours a day, every day, for a year. Now, it takes 3 years if you're doing less time than that. And then it takes another 3 years to market your book, which means locating the right publisher for your book. So I may have cut off a little bit of that time by identifying publishers that are the best for you, but it's going to be a long process, knocking on all these doors, a really long process. So we've known that for a while. I think I might have even told you that from the outset, that it takes a year to write, 3 years to publish, and part of that is best-selling books are black swans. They're not negative black swans like Nicholas Taleb writes about, but they're unexpected. Nobody expected Harry Potter to be a smash hit. It was rejected for years by publishers. And, this same story happens to so many authors. A great majority of them are rejected for about 3 years, and then finally somebody takes the book on and publishes it, and everybody's happy and surprised. So part of the reason is publishers have not mastered the art of identifying best-selling books whenever they see it. So me telling you that it's going to take about 3 years to find the right publisher is from the experience of best-selling authors. They had great books. Your book is going to be great, and whether or not it's published has nothing to do with whether it's great or not, even whether or not it's a bestseller. And I've tried to say this I've made several takes of this video, but there are basically three ways to get a best-selling book. Number one, you have $30,000 that you're willing to spend, and you give it to a publicist who specializes in getting books to the top of the best-selling list, and they can get it done in about 6 months. Maybe it'll take longer than that, but the problem with that is it cannot be hidden. If you spend $30,000 on getting a best-selling book, everybody will know it, and it will get bad reviews, and will almost always get bad reviews. And usually billionaires do this. Ordinary people like you. I call you ordinary, but you're not the founder of Google or the head of Microsoft. But if you have $30,000 laying around and you really want a best-selling book, I can tell you how you can get that done. So it's a fantastic turnaround in money, because if you spend $30,000 getting a best-selling book, it's possible that you could make $1 million off of it. So it does make business sense, but the fly in that ointment is if you go with that route, you're not going to get a bonus, and you could self-publish it and have a best-selling book and get to the New York Times best-selling list. People read it and or review it. You get bad reviews if the book is good or bad, because they're going to know this guy just paid for the book. So that's not something you would want to do if you want to get on HBO and that kind of thing, because they're going to talk about your book badly. Okay, so that's it. I wouldn't do that if I were you, unless you just really want to see your book on the bestseller list, because that's probably all you're going to get. Okay, number two, you have a mentor who gives your book to a friend in publishing. Now, I don't know Stephen King, and I don't know I don't know J.K. Rowling, and I don't know any other best-selling authors that are superstars. We're talking about superstars that groom someone to be a best-selling author. That's the second way. Now, you can get into that if you take a creative writing course and I've read a lot of first-time authors, probably all of them on the bestseller lists. They took a creative writing class taught by a master, like Stephen King was teaching a class, or some other superstar writer, and they were impressed with the student, helped the student along through their novel, and gave it to an editor, to like the editor of the New York Times, or some other celebrity. So it's a celebrity deal, mentor mentee. So that's the second way. You get a mentor gives their students book to a publisher, and in that second way is probably any other celebrity. Like if you were Celine Dion or a head of state, or somebody else, anybody else that is relatively well known for having a very unique experience. Like if you were Michael Jordan, if Michael Jordan were to write a book, it would be a bestseller instantly. Just on his based on his celebrity. Or Donald Trump. Donald Trump writes crap, and every one of them is a bestseller. Just because of name recognition, and they're terrible, terrible books. So so you buy it. You're a mentor-mentee relationship or celebrity. I didn't even think about talking about that because we're not celebrities. And then the third way is a hard way, and that's what we're doing. Uh, if you had 30 grand to make it a bestseller, I don't think you would have hired me to do this. And I don't think you're a celebrity. You might be, and I don't think you would have been having this conversation with me. And so the other way is just knock on doors, and that's what almost all of these bestsellers have done. Now, the exceptions are the celebrities. Now, by celebrity, it could mean a Hollywood celebrity, or anyone else that has like 100,000 or 1 million people that know who they are. So there are a whole lot of people like that. A whole lot more people than I would have imagined have a very, very large following, and that number is growing with social media. There's a lot more people that are well known. They don't deserve to be well known because of social media. So I realize I've been talking for a long time, but the third way is to take that 3-year journey of looking for a publisher. So that's that. I'm almost done. 650 books is no picnic. Reading through all this stuff, and I'm actually building a business off of this research. I've been wanting to do this research for a long time, and your book gave me the opportunity to, or I had to do this research in order to be able to market your book. So anyway, I am working on delivering this to you in a way that makes sense and is easy to use. And the best way to do that is just in a spreadsheet format. So it will be ready at some point in the future, hopefully sooner than later. But it's taken just a little while to wrap it up. But I've done the great majority of the work already. Now that brings me to my next point on your book. I have been working on the content of your book as well. I'm still in the process of adding the context. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. This is right at the end of my day. Adding context to make everything make sense, and I just don't have it. It's not ready for you to see yet. It wouldn't make sense now if you took a look at it. So I've been working on what I can work on without us talking. You really blew my mind with Ravana. It's amazing stuff. The water, trying to figure out how to make the water go back and forth, changing direction. It's just it's very difficult. So anyway, we need to talk about content. We need to set regular meetings. My life is just insane right now. I knew it would be crazy whenever we agreed to do this book. I knew I would be super, super busy at this time. but I have time to work on your book, and I am working on it. So we need to set regular meetings because regular times because it's just I gotta arrange stuff for the kids and I will keep meetings unless I'm just too sick to move, which doesn't happen very often. So anyway, that's what I've been working on, marketing, and it's looking good for what it is. You know, we have a whole lot of information we can leverage. So have a good night, man.